Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and there was a conversation that got started in a video I did yesterday, and some of the guys in there were saying, yeah, actually when you think about it, the marketing strategy of the supplement industry is really brilliant. You can say what you want about them, but their marketing strategies are brilliant next level stuff. And actually it really isn't. Let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, do a little bit of crafting, and let's talk about that. And actually, we've had conversations here at home about that because my girlfriend Brittany actually has an MBA, and she did her graduate work in marketing. And the funny thing there is that, by the way, people have denied, oh, that's not true, other than we showed her transcript in a video a long time ago, and Jerry Ward jumped up and said it was fake. But that's irrelevant because she has a degree. But we were talking about the actual marketing strategies the other day that the supplement industry uses. And when I showed her that conversation there, she laughed and said, no, it really isn't brilliant. They actually work off of a very simplistic low-level marketing strategy. It works. It's very effective, particularly with people with certain personality types. It's effective. But it's not actually that advanced level of marketing. It really isn't. She's like, they work on a concept called the fear of loss. It's a fear-based thing, and it plays upon people's insecurities, and they know that because it doesn't actually take a high level of marketing. Anyone who's had actually a semester or two of business or marketing at the freshman level could actually pull off what the supplement industry does. And keep in mind, guys, Mark Lobliner started his undergrad in business himself, if you guys remember, and he understands this stuff. But the whole supplement industry works on a fear-based marketing strategy. Because the thing is, look at what they do. Look at the way that they put models up and look at little bitty things that people do with supplements. Why is it that people freak out? They freak out if they don't hit their post-workout anabolic window. Because they've been convinced due to very, very biased and silly research by the industry that if they don't get their carbs and protein in immediately post-workout, that post-workout shake, they're going to lose the gains. They're not going to maximize the muscle that they just trained for in the gym. Now, that's not actually true. It isn't true at all. But they're convinced of it. It's a fear of loss. Why is it that a lot of people are now convinced that they need these intra-workout supplements, intra-workout protein, intra-workout branched-chain amino acids? Because they might break down muscle tissue and lose muscle tissue from their training, because weight training makes you lose muscle and makes you small, right? But they don't think about it that way. They're still being marketed to with a fear of loss. And when people can put fear, the emotion of fear, into your insecurities, your logic shuts down. You stop thinking. Because in no world do you lose muscle mass because you lifted some weights. When you think about the absurdity of the idea, but that's what it is. Oh no, you're going to lose muscle because you're going to break down muscle from training and you're going to lose it. We have to stop the catabolism. So we have to get the protein immediately post-workout these shakes because you're going to lose muscle. Fear of loss. Yet bodybuilders in the 40s, 50s, 60s and powerlifters and strength athletes all lifted weights and they all got pretty big without any of this stuff. They didn't lose muscle. But people have been convinced of the idea. Same thing. We've got to get these protein supplements that you take bedtime now, this casein and other slow digesting. Remember when all that stuff was the big face? Like it was the big trendy thing. People had to have it. Why? Because they could be losing muscle while they're asleep. Fear of loss. Fear of losing that muscle mass. Fear of missing out on potential gains. Sure, you could be making gains, but with our product, you're going to make more gains. It's a fear of those elusive gains being lost. It's a total fear of loss strategy. And it's really interesting when you look at it because that's the insecurities they play on. Because everyone's afraid they're going to lose muscle mass. And no, really think about that. Before these products existed, did anyone have trouble gaining muscle mass by just lifting heavy and training hard and eating enough food? It was never a problem. In fact, even the guys back then, if you look at a lot of them, they were still bigger using very tiny amounts of drugs because they didn't have that much available and everyone was scared to take big amounts back then. There's whole interviews that are still been talked about to these days of guys arguing about how safe it was to take a certain amount of D-bol. People take 20, 30 times that much drugs today who don't even compete in anything. And so a lot of them are still not even as big as some of those guys were. Think about that. They didn't worry about that. They just trained hard and they ate. But it's all this fear, this insecurity. They play on people's insecurities because people get obsessed with their gains. And then, to top it all off, they reinforce the insecurity. What do? They put models and people up who use fuckloads of gear and then claim that they're natural. I mean, look how many guys out there who claim to be natural who you know are on 2 grams. I mean, Jerry Ward was using 2 grams while being on YouTube, plus growth hormone and IGF-1. Think about that. There's a lot of guys who claim natural on YouTube who are on 1 gram or 2 or more. Plenty of them. There's plenty of guys who market themselves as natural bodybuilders, natural fitness models who are on 1 gram or 2 of gear. We're talking pretty hefty doses here, fellas. That is now shown as the benchmark. This is what's put on the ads. This was put on the advertising. These are guys who use these products. So they recreate insecurities. They put up ideas that most guys are not going to reach. In fact, most guys on a little bit of gear are probably not going to get to the size that a lot of these guys are. Right? Because these guys live their lifestyle around it. They're probably slightly genetically blessed and they use a lot of drugs. That is now the benchmark. And because you haven't reached that and they know they're dealing with an insecure audience, because a lot of guys get into lifting because they're insecure. Let's be honest. They want to boost their confidence. Well, if you need to boost your confidence, it's because you're at least a little bit insecure. They then give them unobtainable standards. By doing that, it boosts their insecurities higher. The more insecure that you are, the easier it is to play to your fears and to use a fear-based marketing tactic. So again, they come back to that fear of loss. You don't get this pre-workout supplement in, you're not going to be able to train as hard. You're going to lose some of those potential gains that you could have made. You know, you could have made more gains from the same workout in the same week had you just taken our pre-workout. Our intra-workout BCAAs and dextrose will keep you from breaking down as much muscle tissue when you train. You could be losing muscle. You don't get the post-workout recovery shake. With the dextrose and the whey in it, you're not going to recover. You're going to break down more muscle tissue. You're going to lose gains. You can't afford to lose gains because look how far behind you are from these other guys. Look how they look. You're not there yet. You've got a long way to go to catch them. You can't afford to lose gains if you want to be like them. So they reinforce your insecurities so that they can play on your fears more. And the more that the emotion of fear can be thrown in, the more the emotion of fear can be thrown in, the more your logic centers turn off. And you no longer think, and you don't stop and think. Wait, when the fuck has anybody ever gotten smaller from lifting fucking weights? What fucking world does lifting weights make you lose muscle mass in? No, seriously. What fucking delusional ass-backwards world do you lose muscle from lifting weights? But when your fear of loss emotion gets kicked in, fed by your insecurities, you throw logic out the fucking window. Oh my God, I'm going to lose fucking muscle if I don't get this shake in. Oh my fucking God, I'm going to lose muscle. They play on that. That is the entire marketing strategy of the whole muscle building and fat burning supplement industry. They play purely upon fear of loss. And it's not even real. If your insecurities weren't there, they wouldn't even be able to market that. People would be able to step back and think, wait a minute, this is bullshit. Why don't I just eat some more food and sleep a little more and train a little harder and I'll be fine? Why don't I just stick to the basics? Why can't I just eat some chicken or steak and some rice and some broccoli and be done with it? Why can't I just eat normal food to do this again? Because their stuff is special and it'll keep you, it works faster. You have to have it. It's important. If you don't get this intra-workout, pre-workout, post-workout, you're going to lose muscle. And then all the big guys they put in the ads are telling you the same thing. And nobody's stopping and using a little bit of logic because they've kicked your emotions in. Fear turns off your logic centers. Their marketing strategy is 100% fear-based. And it works, but it's not high-level marketing. It's not marketing genius. This is low-level, easy stuff. that always works on insecure people. Anyone who has insecurities, you can throw fear-based marketing at them all fucking day long, and they will eat it up, hook, line, and sinker. Like a fish hooked in the mouth every single time. So no, it's not a brilliant marketing strategy. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book. This is low-level, noob-level stuff, but it works. But it only works on a certain segment of the population. You know, the same thing is used on women. All these glamour magazines, beauty magazines, they use the same shit on them. And you know what? That's actually a bigger industry than the supplement industry. Way bigger. Way bigger. They've perfected it. Supplement industry just kind of picks up and says, oh yeah, that kind of works. We're going to use it on these guys. But other businesses have perfected these models to a much greater extent. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.